sometimes their whole lives. You see, the conscious mind is like the busy manager, always talking, always planning, always analyzing. But the subconscious is like the quiet engineer in the back room. It builds what you feed it. It designs the life you allow it to design. It works all night, every night, taking instructions from the most dominant thoughts you hold. But if your conscious mind is never still, never quiet, never intentional, that engineer keeps building from old blueprints. So take a moment each day to be quiet. Let your shoulders drop, let your breath slow, let the rush of the world fade for just a minute. Because in that minute, something happens. You reconnect with yourself. You reconnect with the part of your mind that holds your habits, your beliefs, your confidence, your creativity, your instincts. You begin to sense thoughts you've ignored, desires you've buried, possibilities you've forgotten. And when the conscious mind softens, the subconscious finally hears you. And that's when you begin to guide your life instead of just reacting to it. That's when ideas appear. That's when clarity shows up. That's when solutions reveal themselves. That's when a new inner voice begins to whisper, "You can, you really can." Quiet the noise, my friend. The answers you've been chasing are already inside you, waiting for the moment you finally pause and listen. You know, once you've begun to quiet the noise of the conscious mind, something remarkable happens. You create the space needed to plant new seeds. And that's the second step to activating your subconscious mind, feeding it deliberate thoughts, intentional ideas, meaningful images of the life you want to live. Because the subconscious doesn't choose what it works on. It doesn't sort or filter or judge. It simply takes whatever you give it and begins building from it. That means if you feed it fear, it builds fear. If you feed it doubt, it builds hesitation. But if you feed it possibility, it starts constructing a future that matches that possibility. Now, here's the part most people miss. Your subconscious doesn't respond to empty wishes or passing thoughts. It responds to what you feel consistently. That's why what you picture, what you visualize, what you emotionally connect with carries so much power. Every time you hold an image in your mind, an image of who you want to become, of what you want to create, of the life you want to build, you're handing your subconscious a blueprint. And it says, all right, if that's what you want, let's get to work, but you have to give it something clear. The mind can't build from confusion. It can't follow a path that isn't drawn. So take a moment every day to picture where you're going. Not vaguely, not half-heartedly, but with conviction, with emotion, with sincerity. Picture it so clearly that you can almost touch it. See yourself in that version of your life, stronger, wiser, more capable, more fulfilled. See the details, what you look like, how you carry yourself, the way you wake up, the people around you, the work you do, the peace you feel. And then, here's the beautiful part, your subconscious begins to operate as if that life is already real. It begins aligning your actions, sharpening your focus, guiding your decisions. You suddenly notice opportunities you used to overlook. You feel nudges to change habits you used to justify. You develop confidence where there used to be doubt. Why? Because your subconscious is now working with a new blueprint, a new destination, a new identity. But remember, my friend, this isn't about daydreaming. This isn't about escaping reality. It's about building it. And building starts in the mind long before it appears in the world. Every great achievement, every major breakthrough, every beautiful transformation begins with a single, powerful, consistent image held in the mind of the one brave enough to believe in it. So feed your subconscious intentionally. Give it something worth working on. Paint the picture, see the vision, feel it, breathe it. Let it sink into the deepest part of you. Because once your subconscious accepts the picture, your life begins moving toward it. Now, once you've planted the right images in your subconscious mind, there's another step that's just as important, maybe even more important, and that's emotion. Emotion is the fuel, the energy, the electricity that brings those images to life. You can't just think a thought, you've got to feel it. You've got to let it move you, stir you, ignite something inside you, because the subconscious responds far more to what you feel than to what you say. Think about it. You've had moments in your life when a single feeling shaped everything. A moment of fear made you step back. A moment of courage made you step forward. A moment of love made you forgive. A moment of clarity made you decide. Emotion is power. Emotion is influence. Emotion is the language your subconscious understands better than anything else. That's why when you visualize where you're going, you can't just look at the picture, you have to step inside it. You have to feel what it feels like to be that version of yourself. Feel the confidence, feel the peace. Feel the joy, feel the certainty of a life lived with purpose. Because when you feel it deeply, your subconscious begins to believe it's real. And once it believes it's real, it starts pulling you toward it in ways that feel almost magical. But here's the challenge. Most people allow their emotions to be shaped by their circumstances instead of their vision. They wake up and react. They let the outside world dictate how they feel on the inside. But you, my friend, have the power to reverse that. You can choose the emotion that fuels your day. You can choose the feeling that strengthens your vision. You can decide that no matter what's happening around you, something extraordinary is happening within you. And when you practice that, when you deliberately generate the emotion that matches the life you want, you begin training your subconscious to accept that life as your reality. Little by little, the old doubts weaken, the old fears lose grip, the old limitations fade, and a new emotional state becomes your standard. Imagine waking up with the same feeling you'd have if you were already living your dream. Imagine carrying that feeling with you into your work, your conversations, your decisions. Imagine the confidence of knowing you're not hoping you're becoming. Imagine the peace of knowing that your subconscious is now aligned with your purpose. That's the power of combining vision with emotion. It takes the idea from your mind and anchors it into your soul. It shifts your future from possibility to probability, and it strengthens you in ways that people around you may never fully understand. So feel the vision, feel the future, feel the strength of the person you're becoming. Because the moment you let yourself feel it deeply, your subconscious begins working tirelessly to make it real. Now let's talk about something that most people overlook when they think about activating the subconscious mind, and that's repetition. Repetition is a quiet force. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it doesn't demand attention. But it shapes you, slowly, silently, consistently, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you've become someone entirely new. And that transformation didn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happened through the small things you repeated every single day. Your subconscious learns through repetition. It learns through patterns. It learns through consistency. Whatever you feed it over and over again becomes its truth, and that truth becomes your reality. That's why you must be incredibly selective about what you repeat, because repetition can either build your life or break it. It can either strengthen you or sabotage you. Think about the thoughts you've told yourself again and again. I'm not good enough. This is too hard. People like me don't succeed. Those weren't truths. They just became familiar. They became comfortable. And the subconscious mind doesn't choose what's true. It chooses what's consistent. It embraces whatever you rehearse, even if it hurts you. But here's the good news. you can start repeating something new, something empowering, something that aligns with the life you're committed to building. And the moment you do, the old patterns, those old stories, those old doubts begin to lose their strength. They don't disappear overnight, but day by day, they loosen their grip because your subconscious is receiving new instructions, new commands, new beliefs backed by repetition. You see, change doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. It's not about saying the right thing once, it's about saying it until your subconscious has no choice but to accept it. It's not about visualizing your future once, it's about rehearsing it until it feels more real than your present. It's not about choosing courage once, it's about choosing it every morning until it becomes your nature. And the beautiful part is that repetition doesn't require perfection, just commitment. You may slip, you may forget, you may fall back into an old story for a moment, but as long as you return to the new pattern, you keep moving forward. You keep building the muscle of belief. You keep strengthening the foundation of the life you're creating. Imagine what would happen if, for the next year, you repeated the truth of who you want to become every single day. Imagine rehearsing your success instead of your failures. Imagine practicing gratitude instead of worry. Imagine affirming your strength instead of replaying your fears. Imagine training your mind to default to possibility rather than limitation. Repetition is the quiet architect of your destiny. It builds the walls, lays the bricks, and strengthens the structure of your future. And every word you say, every thought you choose, every feeling you repeat, it's all shaping the blueprint of the life you are stepping into. So choose what you repeat, because repetition is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. There's something powerful that happens when you take a vision, something you've been holding in your mind, and anchor it with emotion. Your subconscious doesn't respond to logic the way your conscious mind does. You can tell yourself all day long, I want to improve my life, and it won't move the needle much. But the moment you attach feeling to that idea, the moment you let yourself feel the joy, the excitement, the gratitude, the pride, that's when your subconscious begins to wake up. That's when it starts paying attention. Emotion is the language of the subconscious. It's the spark that lights the fire. It's the amplifier that takes a simple thought and turns it into a command. And here's the truth. You've already been using this power your whole life, whether you realized it or not. Every time you've worried intensely about something, every time you've replayed a painful memory, every time you've felt fear so deeply it tightened your chest, your subconscious was listening. It was taking notes. It was responding. Now imagine what would happen if you redirected that emotional energy towards something that lifts you instead of something that weighs you down. Imagine taking that same intensity you've given to fear and giving it to your dreams. Imagine giving it to the life you want, the person you want to become, the success you're chasing. That shift alone could change everything. See, when you combine vision with emotion, you create alignment. You create internal agreement. You create a message so clear that the subconscious can't ignore it. If your vision says, I want to be successful, but your emotions say, I'm afraid, I'm uncertain, I'm doubtful, then you're sending mixed signals. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. But when your emotions match your vision when they rise to meet it, then your subconscious moves in one unified direction. And how do you do that? You practice feeling the future you want now, not someday, not when everything is perfect, not when life gives you permission. You feel it now. You feel the confidence of your future self as if it's already yours. You feel the gratitude for the opportunities that are coming. You feel the joy of becoming someone stronger, wiser, better. You create the emotional state that aligns with the life you're building. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between an experience that's happening and an experience you're vividly imagining with emotion. It only knows the feeling you give it, so give it the feelings that reflect the life you want. Feed it the emotion of victory, not the emotion of defeat. Feed it the emotion of hope, not the emotion of fear. Feed it the emotion of belief, not the emotion of doubt. Emotion can elevate your vision to a place where it becomes irresistible, where your subconscious begins working tirelessly to bring it to life. So don't just think about your future, feel it, breathe it, leave it inside long before it appears outside. Because emotion is the power that turns imagination into reality, you know one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is persistence. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind. I'm talking about the quiet, steady kind of persistence that grows in the background. The kind that says, I don't have to get it all right today, but I'm not stopping. That kind of persistence has built more dreams, opened more doors, and changed more lives than talent ever has. And when it comes to activating your subconscious mind, consistency is the fuel that keeps the engine running. You can visualize once in a while. You can affirm once in a while, you can take action once in a while, but your subconscious doesn't shift from once in a while. It shifts from repetition. It shifts from rhythm. It shifts when you show it the same message over and over until it becomes part of who you are. See, the subconscious mind isn't moved by intensity. It's moved by consistency. A single burst of inspiration might get you excited, but it's your daily habits, the small ones, the simple ones, that carve new pathways in your mind. It's the steady whisper of intention that eventually becomes the roar of transformation. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are training your subconscious. You're teaching it what to believe about you, and if you want it to believe something new, something empowering, something expansive, you've got to show up with that message again and again. You want confidence, you practice confidence daily. You want success, you plant seeds of success daily. You want peace, you cultivate peace daily. And even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days, you keep showing up. That's persistence, and here's something important. Persistence doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you never miss a day, never fall short, never feel discouraged. Persistence means you don't quit, you don't walk away from yourself just because progress feels slow. You don't abandon your vision because the results aren't instant. You keep watering the seed even when the soil looks dry. You trust that something is happening beneath the surface long before you see anything above it, and when you operate like that, something remarkable happens. Your subconscious starts to shift. It begins to absorb the pattern you've created. It starts to align with the thoughts you repeat, the feelings you generate, the actions you choose. And slowly, quietly, steadily, it begins building the life you've been imagining, not by force, but by design. Consistency is how you show your subconscious that you mean what you say. Persistence is how you prove to yourself that you are someone worth believing in. And when those two come together, when you show up day after day with intention and heart, you unlock a level of power inside you that you may not have realized was there all along. So keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when the results feel far away. Show up, because every small step you take is shaping the mind that will shape your future. What you whisper to it, not what you shout. But here's the challenge. Most people never quiet down long enough to hear what's going on inside. They're so busy thinking, worrying, running, reacting, they never stop long enough to guide the part of their mind that runs the whole show. And if you don't guide it, believe me, it will run on whatever old programming it has. Fears, Doubts, past mistakes, old stories, voices that aren't even yours. So the very first step, my friend, the very first step to activating that incredible power inside you is simply this: learn to quiet the conscious mind. Calm the noise, ye slow the wheels, because the subconscious doesn't speak in noise, it speaks in whispers. And you can't hear whispers in a storm, and I'm not talking about sitting on a mountaintop or meditating for hours, unless you want to. I'm talking about something much simpler, something deeply human and profoundly powerful: the ability to be still. Just a moment where you pause and breathe and let your mind settle. Because when you quiet the conscious mind, you open the gate to the deeper part of yourself. And that gate has been closed for many people for years.